Hey, what's going on, guys? Your boy Ghost, and today I'm going to be walking you through how I go about making my builds. So specifically, this is for basically help people that have trouble making builds, who only make builds or only use builds to see off YouTube. There's nothing wrong with that, but if you ever wanted to make a build around something that someone hasn't made a video about, feel free to try it out, and hell, maybe you might come up with the next big build for this specific season. So this is how I go about making my build specifically. I hope it works for you. If it doesn't, feel free to look at the comments. Maybe someone else has another way they got to go about it. And if you find a way that basically kind of mirrors, maybe does a little bit of changes, share that in the comments below. You might make me making builds a bit better as well. This is going to be a very live commentary build. There is no script. If I mess up, I'm sorry. But I just wanted to give you like the alluding that we're going back and forth from this conversation. So feel free to ask your questions in the comments below. Okay, so first off, the way I like to start is the two main things I want to work on with the build. So two main things is I want to work with the new Warlock aspect, Ionic Sentry. Ionic Sentry states defeating targets with a kinetic or arc weapons or arc abilities to charge up an arc turret that periodically change lightning between nearby targets, granting a stack of bolt charge each hit. So these are the one that I really want to work around. This is the main one specifically. I usually pick either the main reason I'm starting to build for the specific reason. It's an Ionic Sentry. It's the Ionic Sentry. It's the Ionic Sentry new aspect. But sometimes it could be in a new exotic armor piece, like last season with episode, the last one. I can't remember the name of because how bad it was. Sorry about it. It was Rhymecoat Raiment. I really wanted to build around that with stasis. So you just got to find the keystone of your ability, whether it's an exotic, an aspect, weapon, and we'll get into that too. Sometimes the weapon is usually the secondary for me. So we're going to do that. And then secondly, we're probably going to do electrostatic mine, so I can get some ionic traces, because ionic traces are good. Secondly, moving into the fragments. You really want to pick your fragments here, because later in the video, we're going to go over the D2 armor picker, and depending on the fragments you choose, you will get some negative and or positive benefits that will help you in the future. So if I know I'm going to be needing to get a kinetic arc weapons or arc ability eliminations, I gotta worry about getting kills. So what I'm going to do is look for fragments that are pretty much either help me get the kills easier or swap ionic traces more. So what we're going to look for immediately is, since I'm probably going to be using an arc special weapon, so the first thing that I'm going to look for is Spark of Beacons. While you're amplified, your arc special or heavy ammo weapon final blows create blinding explosions. We're going to put that on because it's easy work. You can't go wrong with it. Now the second question is, you'll be wondering, you might want to read, especially if you haven't done any buildcrafting before and you don't really read it. You might want to read, because you might find a freaking aspect or a fragment that you didn't even know exists. So we're going to go keep scrolling. While amplified arcs, yep, we got that already. While surrounded, boom, can't go wrong with that. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. Perfect. Keep scrolling, sliding over ammo, pass. Your arc grenade jolt, don't need that. Defeating a jolted target or defeating a target with bolt charge creates an ionic trace. Boom, we're gonna want that. Then we're gonna go with arc weapon final blows have a chance to create an ionic trace. You could honestly go with this one too. Collecting ionic traces grants you a bionic. Collecting an ionic trace grants you a stack of bolt charge. I might do this as well. This might be my 4, but let's keep looking at them. Melee hits increase your quick reload speed. Pass. While amplified effects are increased and you gain increased stacks of bolt charge from all sources, that's actually pretty good. But I think these are pretty good without it. After sprinting for a short time, your class ability generation is increased. That's minus 10 recovery. I don't want that. While you're critically wounded, your melee and grenade energy regenerate quickly. Pass. Your lingering arc grenades have extended duration. I'm not probably going to use that because I like the 4 I have already. Rapidly defeating targets while your amplifier creates an overpower. And you could go with that maybe. Taking melee damage briefly increase your outgoing melee damage. Pass. Nothing to do with the build at all. Finishers make you amplified and give you a stack of bolt charge. Pass. Defeating a blinded target with a precision damage creates a blinding explosion. It really depends on the weapon you're using here. Specifically, I know I'm going to be using an arc special and an arc heavy, so why would I not want Spark of Beacons to give people blinding the entire area? These are pretty good. You could swap out resistance for frequency or discharge. Honestly, I genuinely might do that. I might do it. It seems like a not bad idea. Just get even more ionic traces and I get even more bolt charge. So now that we have our fragments set, we're gonna walk on over to D2 Armor Picker. If you guys don't know what D2 Armor Picker, it lets you make builds and stuff to basically get the best stats possible. You're gonna go over to d2armorpicker.com. You're gonna log in to your Bungie.net stuff. Come on, there you go. Go to my warlock. We're gonna set all of these to freaking 0. Then we're gonna say that I'm picking. You're gonna do arc, and then you're gonna list all the fragments that you have that may have a negative or positive bonus. So we have, I know I have Spark of Discharge. Boom. And I think that's the only one that I have ever has a bonus. Oh no, yeah, I have Discharge and Resistance. So boom. Okay, so that's how I know what I need to do. So that basically like lets the calculator calculate any artifact, any aspects or fragments, specifically fragments that you might have one that'll increase or decrease your stats. Now we're gonna go over and pick an exotic. I know I'm gonna want to run probably one of these 3 exotics. So before I pick it, let's just help you walk through this exotics that you could use to change this build around. I'm going with Geomag Stabilizers. Geomag Stabilizers states the damaging targets with Chaos Reach extends the duration. Collecting ionic traces grants you energy for your Chaos Reach. Sprinting while near max bull charge will grant you stacks over time. So that's gonna really good so I can get more bull charge and I'll be able to get my Chaos Reach super incredibly fast. That's what I'm gonna be doing. But if you don't like Chaos Reach or you don't have Geomag Stabilizers, here's some options for you. I believe Crown of Fallen Sunstar is a DLC exotic. I can't remember what exactly DLC it comes from, but this one just improves Ionic Traces, Ionic Conductor. Ionic Traces create, move faster, and grant you additional ability energy. Nearby allies also gain ability energy when you collect Ionic Trace. Could be pretty good in team play, but I'm kind of want to use Chaos Reach because I almost never use Geomags. Now here's a free option, Crown of Tempest. I think Crown of Tempest is free. Conduction times while you have an arc ability equipped or arc ability or jolt final blows. Arc ability or jolt final blows increase the recharge rate of your abilities and extend the duration of Storm Trance. So if you don't want Storm Trance, that's actually pretty good. But this is like basically a version of Hoil for Titans. But you have to basically time out your abilities and kind of not siphon them, but split them fairly, because if you use all your abilities at the same time, you're not going to have another ability to keep conduction times up. So you got to space them out equally. For me, if you don't feel like doing all that, it's either one of these 2 options. It's either Fallen Sunstar or Geomags. Pretty easy. I'm going to go with Geomags for this build, so let me know what you guys pick in the comments below. So I'm gonna go down here, click Geomags. Boom. Now I know I want as close as I can get to 100 resilience. Boom, I can get 100 recovery too. Boom. All right, now if I get 100 recovery, I could get, it's either 100 recovery, 100 resilience. Now do I want, let's say can I get 50? Okay, I can get 50 freaking, I can go higher. Hold on, 70 discipline. Okay. Let me get 50 strength. Boom, 30. Boom. Okay, so now I got 100, 70, 30, 50 stats. Don't care about mobility because I'm on my warlock. So with this ability, you'll be able to do all this. It'll give you the perfect armor set for you to be able to get all this exact stats that you want. So I'm going to go over here to move to inventory. So this will slowly but surely move all this stuff to my inventory. Just give it a second. Boom, there's 1, 2. Come on, keep her going. Keep her going. I might have everything. I might have everything on me already. That's why. Yep, I have everything on me already. So, is this it? Oh, it's this. Okay. Boom. Then boom. Boom. And then I'm assuming it's, I don't know what Geomags wants me to use. Which one is it? What Geomag are they asking me to use? It's the one with 2 mobility, 15 resilience, 18. It's this one. Okay, so now for me to get the stats I want, I gotta masterwork everything. So let's masterwork all this stuff. I'll come back to the video. It'll cut back to when all this is done and set up. Okay, now that we have everything masterwork, I do want to give a slight informational thing. If you guys don't have the armor you want to make the stat build you want, you can go farm dungeons for Artemis armor. They give fairly high stat armor, especially if you remember to put a ghost mod in. But in my opinion right now, I would tell you just use what you got, because in this situation, we're about to get a completely new armor system in Frontiers. And honestly, I'm probably going to be deleting all the armor I farmed for, because it's not going to be as useful when new armor comes out. So I wouldn't recommend farming for it. If you want to, you can. Grasp for Avarice Master. Final boss is probably the best way to get armor. It probably will be the best way to get armor, especially if they update it for the new armor system. So that's the best way to get armor. Now that we have this, let's over infuse everything, because I know all this stuff is not high level. The second part of this build is your weapon choice, because after you picked your aspects, now you're going to talk about the secondary choice in the specific situation. In this specific situation, I've taught you how to use D2 armor picker. I've taught you how to use taught you how the 2 pierces. I've taught you how I picked 2 specific things to build around. Now let's talk about the second thing we're going to build around. It's the weapon. In this build, I'm going to be using Delicate Tomb. Delicate Tomb is a fusion rifle that makes it does a lot of damage this season. It got a big buff. I think the damage buff it gets now from eating Ionic Trace is like 100%, and it lasts at all times. And if you don't ADS, which is aim down sight for you guys who don't know, you get more bolts as well. So it does a crap ton of damage. But if you don't have this exotic, you can go pick it up from the Monument to Lost Light over here. It should be over here in the Season of Plunder, right? Actually, was that what you? Hold on, we can go look. I can just go scroll back and look. It will be. Was it Witch Queen? Yeah, Witch Queen. It'll be in the Witch Queen section. You can buy this. If you don't have that, I would probably use, honestly, depending on the situation, I'm going to swap between 2 of these. This is either going to be Cold Hard. If I really, really, really want the absolute most amount of Ionic Traces possible, Cold Hard is the best, because it spawns Ionic Traces as you shoot it. You can see right here, periodically generates Ionic Traces while at a high damage state. This weapon shoots a steady cold fusion powered arc laser, dealing more damage the longer it remains on target. Think of it basically as the original user of Target Lock, if you guys know what Target Lock is. The thing is, it makes Ionic Traces, and it's a trace rifle, so it holds a good amount of ammo. So depending on the situation, if I'm usually in lower to medium end content, I use double primary, double special in GMs before. It works, especially if you have on a special ammo finder and finisher and harvester. So that'll be pretty good. But for this specific build, I'm going to use Delicate Tomb for the sakes of this video. So because I know I'm using Delicate Tomb, we're going to want to use a Arc Siphon. Arc Siphon makes it so whenever you get eliminations with rapid two or more eliminations rapidly, you get an aura of power. And I know I'm probably going to have a kinetic weapon, so I'm probably not going to use double special for this loadout. So let's go ahead and put on a kinetic siphon as well. Now that we have all this set up, we have to go look at the mods that I need to have on my armor. We got from D2 armor picker. It'll literally show you exactly what you need to do. So right now I need 4 major resilience mod, a minor resilience mod, I need a minor recovery mod, a major recovery mod, and that'll be what I need. So let's go put this in right now. Put in my 4 major these mods. So boom.
Next one, this one. Boom. Another resilience. Now we'll get into the rest of this action details. Just give me 1 second. Okay, now I have to. Now I need a little bit of recovery. So I need a boom. Put a recovery mod in. Where's that at? Dang. Double hundreds. Now I have an extra stat point. I do have an extra 3 stats for armor armor. I don't really want the mobility. I might do. Just so I get some bonus from it. So let's do mobility. Let's push it up here. So.
Now that we got this set up, we're going to talk about the mods. In the helmet section of your build, in the helmet section of your armor, you're going to find siphon mods, you're going to find finder mods, you're going to find armor mods that have to deal with like super dynamo with super regen speeds. You got ashes to assets, which is super energy on grenade kills, hands-on super energy on melee kills, power reservation, super final blows create extra orbs of power for your allies. Boom. Radiant light is pretty good, powerful flames, but since specifically we're gonna be talking about we're gonna use siphon mods. You can't go wrong with a siphon mod and make you some orbs, get super back even faster. Let's keep moving into the next page. These are your targeting mods if you want to do PvP stuff, but we're only talking about PvE. For gauntlets, this is where you get your reload mods, your firepower mods, so you can get orbs on grenade kills or heavy-handed. If you want to throw your grenades faster, you got fastball. These are your kickstart mods. Kickstart mods make it so whenever you have a couple of stacks of armor charge, or I call them orbs of light, orbs of power, I mean, when you're using ability, you get a good amount of that energy back, and depending on the amount of orbs that you have. So in this specific general situation, I'm probably going to use, there's nothing really here I really want. I might just throw out a freaking grenade kickstart, because actually depending on the situation, we'll talk about it later. But if you want special ammo finder, don't use these. I've been playing builds for a while, so I usually use them if I need special ammo. I have grenade kickstart and special finisher, because I know I can tell myself between, okay, I need to have a special ammo here, so I'm not going to use a grenade or a melee, because I need my ability back as fast as possible. You have font mods here. Font mods will basically let you put some extra stat points into the specific stat that you want if you have orbs of power. I don't like ever use these, and I also don't see anyone else ever use them, so pass on them. This is where you get your reload mods as well, dexterity mods on the second page as well. But I'm just gonna throw some grenade kickstart mods in for this build. But you can't go wrong with either. You got causing damage with your grenade, reduces your melee cooldown. Grant class ability energy when you cause damage with your powered melee attack. Grenade class ability to generate class ability energy when you cause grenade damage. About the same thing. You guys just read the mods. Now, chest piece. You got two options here. You can either go for defense, have a resistance mod on, or you can go with emergency defense, but when your shields become broken, consumes 3 or more stacks of armor charge, granting a long duration of damage resistance. Pretty good. Can't go wrong with it, but I usually just choose to go over resistances because I don't like to have too many of these mods, these yellow mods, on at the same time. So we're either going to go with charged up to hold more orbs of power or more armor charge, or you go over here to do reserves. Reserves make it so you can hold more of specific elements of ammo. If we're running double special, I would recommend at least 1 reserve, maybe even 2. But I would say 1 reserve minimum. And if you're doing GMs, put on some resistances depending on the resistance you might need for the activity. But I'm just gonna go put on 2 reserves and a, come on, goes 2 reserves, and it's a random freaking resistance on. You can't go wrong with that. But if you need more resistance, put more resistance on. Now for the boots, let's talk about it. In the boots, we got all the orb pickup mods. So you pick up an orb, you get health regen, you get grenade energy, melee energy, class ability energy, reduce all ability cooldowns depending when you pick up an orb. Then this one is reduce a small amount of energy to the ability with the least amount of charge. Can't go wrong with those. You could do grants you armor charge when you pick up, gets you 2 armor charges when you pick up an orb. You could do elemental charge, collecting a fire sprite, ionic trace, stasis shard, void reach, or destroying a strand tangle, have an escalating chance to give you armor charge. I'm gonna rock this. Can't go wrong with it because we're getting a lot of ionic traces. This is where your surges will be. If you want to use a surge mod, this will increase your damage depending on how many you have on. I believe it goes to 10, 15, 25, if I'm correct. Let me go look real quick. So it's 10, 17, 22. My bad. 10, 17, 22 for damage resistance. Extra damage you can do. So if you want to do that, especially in like a raid encounter, or you could just be walking around at max stacks, you might want to do that on, put a surge mod, do some extra damage. Or you got some holster mods. So the holster mods are basically auto-loading holster for the specific element of weapon that you have equipped. So you have to put it away though, and the more stacks you put on, the faster it reloads. I normally put this on like if I'm doing a solo dungeon and I don't want to be bothered to reload, I'll put 1 on and it'll reload my weapons, especially really good if you have on 2 weapons of the same element. It'll reload both of them at the same speed. So pretty good for the value. So I'm going to run just for basic needs, put on the the arc surge. These are, if you want to go to the second page, you'll get like, these are your holster mods, the other ones, and these are your harvester mods, your scavenger mods. Scavenger makes it so whenever you pick up a weapon, an ammo brick, you'll get more ammo from that brick if you have a scavenger mod for that associated weapon. So if you want to take off a surge and then pop on an arc scavenger, if you want to do double special, do that. If you're not running double special, I think you're fine without it, but can't go wrong with either way. There's nothing wrong with more ammo. So I'm going to go back to my arc surge. Okay, so now that we've finished everything, the only thing we have left to do is to worry about the class item mods. As you can see, I have special finisher on, because normally I use special finisher whenever I'm running double special. I probably will have it on just in case I do end up swapping to it. There's nothing wrong with having double special. I don't usually finishing stuff if I don't have to need ammo. A, need ammo, or B, it's an explosive throw. So that's why I usually do finishers on them, or explosive shanks, one of the 2. Time dilation. Time dilation makes so your armor charges last longer. I believe it's an extra 3 seconds. I think it might be 2, maybe 3 if you count to 0. But it's 10 seconds per armor charge without dilation. I believe it's 12. with dilation is 12. And then with your class item, you have all the other like reduce ability cooldowns when using your class ability on your targets, reduce ability cooldown when using your class ability, reduce. So you got the grenade one, the melee one. You got utility kickstart, which is like a kickstart I just told you before. If you use this with orbs, you get your class item back. Another font mod for recovery. Time dilation, like I just said. Powerful attraction. This is actually pretty good if you plan on using it. Powerful attraction makes it so whenever you class your class ability, it sucks in all the orbs near you. So, and the more copies you do, the bigger area of effect it has. So, if you pop on 3, you might get a couple extra. You're gonna get like you'll be able to suck up the entire room basically.
Hey yo.
Proximity ward, you get a big overshield when you do finishers. It's something you're trying to get finishers. You don't want to pass die. A whole bunch of other finisher mods: restorative finisher, special finisher, 1-2 finisher. You get restore melee abilities. One of them for final blows generating overshield. Healthy finisher gives you healing. Snap load finisher reloads all your weapons. Finisher grenades. Another one for class class abilities. This one's for spawns orbs power. No one really does these in it though. Empowered finisher can be kind of cool. It gives you a finisher final blows, gives you a temporary armor charge when you have none. Kind of like the absolute worst option for generating armor charge. Armor charge, by the way, I think I kind of sucked over this. Kind of sucks. Armor charge basically just lets you use your abilities. So you need these armor charges for armor. Yellow mods use armor charge. Green mods either give you armor charge or help you collect them collect an armor charge. Armor charge you gain by collecting orbs power. So pretty simple. This came around during Lightfall. Now, one thing that I do have to mention that is also fairly important to your builds is your artifact mods. Going into the specific activities, you're gonna have champions, but the really ones you really want to talk about here are basically the way it works. If you want to read them, feel free to. I would recommend that you read them, absolutely. But the best way, if you really just want to get in and get out, is to just pick on everything that could potentially have something to do with your build. So for arc specifically, just grab every single arc mod. So I'm gonna go with Unstoppable Fusion. Then I'm gonna go with Overload Machine Gun. Then I'm gonna need something for anti-barrier. I'm gonna pick a side armor for eventually later down the line. So for overclock and load, while you're amplified or have bolt charge, arc weapon gains increased reload speed and handling. You can't go wrong with that. Legend Incarnate, don't really need that. Volatile Marksman, don't really need that. I could do this. I might, depending on the activity. You can't go wrong with unraveling rounds. I might have a strand primary, so it's not that big. That's not a bad idea. Weapons with timeless origin trait, no. Rapid final blows, no. I'm gonna do this. Now we got Hold the Line. While surrounded, machine guns and glaives gain increased reload speed. We're gonna pass with that for a bit now. Dielectric. Arc debuff targets grant bolt charge. Perfect. So I'm gonna be using a special weapon, like I just said before. If you guys don't remember, Spark of Beacons. It makes targets blind when you kill them with an arc, special, or heavy weapon while you're amplified. So that's the arc debuff. Perfect. Then you could do Powerful Taken. We're good. Disruptive Spike improves effect of Sever and or Exhaust. I might do this because I might have a strand weapon. Actually, no. We're gonna do defeating an exhausted or severed target with arc damage. Release a blinding burst. I'm probably not gonna do this. Malign Harvest, Flashover. There you go. When you gain maximum bolt charge, you also become amplified. Lightning bolts deal more damage. You can't go wrong with more damage. Then we got Horde Shuttle, damage unravel targets with a weapon occasionally spawns with threadling. I'm gonna do that because I'm probably gonna have over unraveling orbs. Then let's just put on Dreadful Finisher. Now we're gonna want for sure Particle Deconstruction. Dealing sustained damage with a fusion rifle or a linear fusion rifle partially refills the magazine from reserves, grants them bonus damage for a short duration against that target. Particle Deconstruction, can't go wrong. Elemental Supercharger, defeating an exhausted or severed target with a weapon that matches your super energy, grants your super element. I'm sorry. So I might run this, but you can't go wrong with Defibrillating Blast too. Stunning a champion grants max bolt charge, triggers an arc bolt that heals you and jolts combatants and damages. If you're going to be going in an activity with champions, you can't go wrong with this. But dealing sustained damage with a heavy machine gun or a rocket launcher grants damage resistance and increases melee and grenade generation for a short time. And then we got Void Flex. We're not using Void Flex. So the options are right here. It's either Elemental Supercharger, Heavy Ordnance, or Defibrillating Blast. If you're going to be running activities with champions in them, Defibrillating Blast all day. But if not, probably going to do Severed, and I might put on a Severed weapon that gives me like tear or slice. All right, now that everything's in order, you got your armor set up, the stats set up the way you want, the weapons and aspects and fragments all set up. Now you got to go to your inventory, click on this button right here, and save it as a loadout. That way, whenever you want to pull it out of your inventory, say you got some stuff in your vault, you really don't know where everything is, boom, bam, bop, click this button, everything's good to go. One last thing to reiterate on the subject. How I go about build crafting, and maybe this will help you, is you find the things that you want to build around, whether it's one thing, whether it's just an exotic, whether it's an aspect and an exotic, whether it's a weapon aspect and an exotic. You find what you want to build around and build out from there. Just to reiterate, so like I had, you got the exotic, you got geomag stabilizers, and I wanted to use ionic sentry. These ionic sentries and geomags build off a lot of ionic traces. So I got a weapon that deals more damage because of my ionic traces and does 100% extra damage because of that. So big bonus. And that timer does not go out. It's literally 100% extra bonus damage until you shoot. So build off that, you get your stats, you get your weapons, you get your mods, and then you can even do even more if you work with the the artifact mods, you do even more. So let me know what you guys think about this video in the comments below. If I did anything wrong, feel free to let me know and I will pin your comment. Have a good rest of your day. And remember to stay spooky, all right? Have a good one. Peace.